Fire away.
What did Curtis Rourke do from just a mechanic standpoint as far as the huddle and getting the play call in and all that stuff?
Yeah, I thought he was excellent in all those areas, especially it being his first, real competitive football game in almost 2 years. So he did a great job of handling the huddle, the emotions of it. The operation was really clean. And then on top of that, I thought he executed really well. So really pleased with how he plays.
How long do you expect to have him out of action?
I'm not 100%. I don't think it'll be long, though. I think he just needs to heal up a little bit and get him back out there. But we don't think it's anything long term.
Klay, it was a lot of 11 personnel out of 3 wides. Was that just because of the injuries you have, or do you think we may see more 11 this year?
Oh, no, that's just, we only suited up 3 tight ends. And so we're trying to kind of keep a rotation going there. If you go too much 12 personnel, those guys are probably going to get gassed. So it's just kind of who we suited up and the numbers we had. And then I think in the second half, we're in some second and long situations where we're probably doing more 11 anyways because they're passing situations. So it's just how the game went and the personnel we had out there.
Stribling got a lot of opportunities in the first half. How do you feel he acquitted himself?
I think he did a good job. There's a lot for him to learn from that game. There's things from the game that I think everyone knows why we love him. The way he is with the ball in his hand, the way he catches the ball. He's a very, very strong player, but there's things that he needs to keep working on. The route running, the detail with alignment, all those things. It's going to get better with time, but he just needs to see the reps, get better from the tape. But I was pleased with how he played. He made some good plays, and he's just got to keep growing, keep taking steps every week.
That Rourke had to handle a little bit. Did you get a sense from him that it meant a little more just because it had been so long for him?
Yeah, I think any young player who hasn't played yet, and he's not a rookie, but he is effectively a rookie. You go into that first preseason game, and it's, it does mean a lot to those guys. It's their first time in playing in the NFL and suiting up and being in a stadium. And I think anytime that's the case, guys are going to feel a little nervous, and I think that's how it should be. It means they care. It means it matters to them. And he admittedly felt that way, but it didn't affect how he plays. That means he was prepared and he was ready for the moment, and I thought his play showed that. So.
Well, not to get carried away with his one game from Rourke,
Mm-hmm.
but he's a 7th round pick, and 7th round quarterbacks, sometimes they don't last very long. I mean, have you seen enough to this guy is actually an NFL quarterback on some level? He can stick around as a backup,
Sure.
Or is it premature to say what he could be?
Yeah, I think it's premature. I mean, he's a really young player who's got a bright future with a lot of room to grow. But that is why we drafted him, is we thought he was an NFL quarterback. And I think we saw a lot of talent that he was probably better than a 7th round pick, but he had an injury in college that we knew he wasn't going to be able to play much his first year. And so his draft value maybe fell a little bit. But evaluating, we saw a guy who was an NFL thrower, who was very bright, who had the right size, and who had the chance to be a player. So, we still think he is, and I think he's taken steps in that direction, but he's got to keep going. So.
Well, what type of camp is Mike Evans having? I know he had the quad issue a little bit earlier, but just what have you observed from him?
Just missed some time, but getting him back into it now, getting him back into the swing of things, just with our practice tempo, our route tree, and I think he's doing a good job. I think just kind of adjusting to Brock, adjusting to, like I said, our route tree, and kind of learning the timing of things. It's new for any player, but he's doing a heck of a job. Mike's a really, really smart guy. He is on it. He's out there competing and getting better. Today we got him in one-on-ones. He ran some good routes, and I just like his growth every day. And Mike has the right mindset that he's just out there to get better. He wants to make our team better, and that's what it takes. And so I'm really happy with where he's at.
Behind the scenes, is he taking a leadership role, or is he just kind of quiet because he's new? Like, how would you describe it?
I think Mike, he leads in his own way. He's naturally just kind of a quiet guy who goes about his work, and that's what we like about him a lot. He's all about what you do on the field, and so to me, that's kind of what he is every day. It's how he shows up, and I think players respect that because it shows up on the field of what the product is. So.
I'm sure you're not monitoring all the guys that are injured, but George, it seems like he's taken a lot of steps already for someone who was injured as recently as he was. What do you hear from him just on a daily basis, or when you hear from him, and just kind of how his progress has come?
Relentless positivity from George, like always. That's how he lives his life. It's how he goes by his every day, and you got to appreciate that about him. And to me, that's what's going to make him get back from this injury and be himself again, is because he has the right mindset. He attacks every day with positivity that he's progressing and he's healing, and and just in seeing him out there just with the trainers working out, he looks great, and I'm excited to see kind of how he progresses over these next few weeks and where we're at. So yeah.
Klay, Sala and Morris both have kind of described Brock as a layer king. And supposedly Brock has said that Mick doesn't like that. Do you guys offensive guys look at layer as a pejorative when you're talking about quarterbacks? How do you look at that?
There's a time and a place, but you want the mindset to drive the football. And Brock has both tools, and Brock is exceptional at whatever layering it is. Throwing it over zoning defenders, finding holes in the defense. He's exceptional at that. But you want the mindset as a quarterback, I'm driving the football. And, we remind him of that, and he has both tools. And so I think the nickname's funny. I appreciate it, but it's cool that Brock kind of takes it personally too and says, no, I'm going to drive the ball. I'm not going to layer things. So, but you got to have both tools in your bag. And so it's kind of a funny deal between him and Raheem.
But off the field, Brock seems sometimes like too good to be true, and even with all the fame and success and money that suddenly he has, like the same guy, due to his faith. Do you ever see someone who is not perfect, like doesn't conduct himself totally correctly?
Nobody's perfect. I don't think Brock would ever claim to be, but he's exceptional, and you got to be exceptional to get where he's got, to come from where he's come from, being the last pick of the draft, being fourth or third on our depth chart when he got here, and to just have the work ethic he has, the character he has, the leadership he has. He's a great teammate. He's a great husband, a great father, a good friend, and he's a great guy. I mean, yeah, he's exceptional, but nobody's perfect, and everyone's got flaws and warts, but this is being human. So we appreciate Brock, we love him, and that's why he's a leader of our franchise. So yeah.
When do you start thinking about the Rams in week one?
I think about him every day. Yeah, I mean it's training camp. You kind of dip your toe in watching your week one opponent every now and then, because you do want to start working on things that you think are going to be relevant in week one, and you start studying the tape a little bit. So this is kind of an ongoing thing throughout camp. And then I think once we get past that Raiders week, we really start to just zero in our focus to the Rams. So
Probably not the ideal situation to have three guys competing for one spot on the offensive line. You like to have that set, but what's kind of your philosophy on what you're trying to see there? At what point do you want those guys together to get ready for week one?
Yeah, I mean, you said three guys competing. There's a double-edged sword to that. One is you do have to divide up the reps, and that takes some reps away from guys with the ones, but that's okay because those guys are competing, and to me, when they compete, they bring the best out of each other, or that's at least the goal. And those guys, those three guys or four guys, however many it is, they come out every day with the mindset that they got to earn it and they got to be at their best, and I think that brings out the best in those guys. But we're looking for consistency. We're looking for guys who come off the ball and play with great technique, consistency. And at the end of the day, like, no matter who ends up starting week one, we're gonna need multiple guys in that spot. I mean, we always have. I mean, whether it's injuries or guys needing a rotation, that's just the nature of playing offensive line. So this competition, to me, whoever comes out of it in week one, it's gonna make that whole group better. And like I said, we're gonna need all those guys down the road. So to me, it's an important part of our team, is just guys competing and people getting better.
In the latest Hard Knocks, McDonald yanks one of his defensive linemen off the field for getting too close to the quarterback. Is that a constant problem? Today there were guys getting pretty close to your quarterback, getting close to getting ready for week one. Mm-hmm. What do you say? Do you say anything?
Yeah, I mean, it's something that's you got to address all the time, and in training camp especially, it ebbs and flows because, there's tempers that flare. There's guys that maybe haven't been here, who aren't used to how we practice, who might be out of control, or an old lineman's technique is bad and he pulls a guy into the quarterback sometimes. So it's both sides. You gotta call it out when you see it. You gotta address it to the team because it's so important. You don't want to lose a quarterback. You don't lose anybody. But yeah, that's just something that you constantly have to have, your thumb on and be monitoring as a coach. So.
Coach, is the emphasis still the joint practice as opposed to trying to get your starters a little bit of work in the preseason game, or what is your guys' philosophy moving forward up into this week?
Yeah, we'll see. I think it's an ongoing discussion about who's going to play on Thursday, but the joint practices are really the big measuring stick. That's where we know we have a plan of how many reps guys are going to get. We know what we're going against. So that'll be set going into that practice, and that's a big day for our team. And then we kind of go through that week and determine, okay, who needs to play, who do we need to, not put out there, who's not worth it, et cetera. So we'll make those decisions here in the next few days.
Howdy. How we doing, guys? Lovely. What do you guys got for me today? Anybody want to hear a riddle?
You are 25.
No, I mean, your question come before my riddle. That's fine. I know like the hierarchy here. You can go first.
Riddle us this.
Riddle us up.
Riddle.
Let's see. This one's actually from Cam. I look like a cat and I act like a cat, but I'm not a cat. What am I? Yes. That guy's got a kitten. It's beautiful. Anyone hear the one I did yesterday? This one's decent. I got this from one of our intern athletic trainers. If you throw me out of a window, I'm a grieving widow. If you put me in a door, I save a life. What am I? Na 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 na. The letter N. If you take it out of a window, it's a widow. If you put in a door, you're a donor. You save a life. All right, questions. What's up, guys? You were excited.
Yes.
You get to go first.
I think you're 25 days away from the opener.
Who's counting?
I'm counting.
Okay.
17 from taking off to Australia.
Okay.
What are your thoughts on being ready for week 1?
Like I've said, I have a chance. We're running around a lot, hitting top speeds. Hopefully we're back in pads practicing sooner than later. Just trying to check the boxes and not be a dumbass is what I would say.
For heading back to practice?
I do, yes. No. You can ask Kyle Shanahan if you want to. Oh, yeah, I got to keep you guys on your toes. Can't just give you all the information. You guys got to do your investigative journalism.
A unique Achilles tear since it was higher up.
Mm-hmm.
What other athletes have you talked to that did the same comeback that you're doing?
Did the exact same? Not a lot, but I've had plenty of people who have had Achilles injuries that I've had brief conversations with. Sherman was one of the big ones, and just talked about the rehab process and how you have to just be. Everyone basically told me that look, as soon as you get out of the cast, which is 10, 14 days, whatever that is. The next 8 weeks is the most important part of it. And if you build a strong foundation, get your calf muscle back, get your strength back, then you're allowed to train faster and get your body ready faster. And so, we dominated those 8 weeks. Had a really good rehab, had a great plan from Ella Trosh to his PT, Heather and her team, my guy Jorge down in Nashville, and then the team. It's been just a great team effort, and I feel like we've knocked it out of the park.
I remember Sherm talking about just kind of how excruciating some of those small minutia things that you have to do, like picking up marbles with
It's the
your
most
toes.
boring rehab in the world.
How did you kind of help yourself get through that part that's...
I mean, it was actually when Ella Trosh told me that I had a chance to play week 1, as long as I took it, did everything I was supposed to do, it was pretty easy to light a fire every single day. But yes, no, it is the most boring rehab in the entire world. It's how many seated calf raises and standing calf raises can you do in a day, basically for 18 weeks. So, and then I got to start walking and running again, which is a little bit more exciting. But no, it was a very boring rehab, but it's pretty consistent. Just do the same thing every single day.
How many calf raises are you doing?
All
now?
of them.
How many were you doing at the beginning?
Oh my gosh. I mean, literally, I got cut out of a cast, and I was doing marble pickups and calf raises seated, but literally within 10 minutes of taking my cast off, which is pretty incredible. Yeah, no, it was very aggressive. And looking back on it, I was like, it's pretty crazy because I went from not being able to put any pressure on it to I'm running routes. It's pretty cool to see.
Your GPS times or whatever you guys use, are those
I'm hitting the numbers that I need to hit. Yeah, it's pretty awesome. Yeah, we're getting there. Pretty close.
Did Elatrash give a case precedent for somebody coming back this quick?
A specific person. Well, the cool thing is the PT team that he uses down in LA. So they've rehabbed hundreds of Achilles and all the surgeries he's ever done. And so they basically showed me the people who had done it right and the people who didn't do it right. And basically showed me all the red flags. Hey, if you do this, but you don't do this, you can tell, the biggest thing is once you get back to running, people stop doing all their strength stuff. And so then their calf strength stays about, you got to be under 10% of equal. in strength. And if you're not under that, like that's how you get hurt again. Like there have been guys who've torn their Achilles, come back, and then as soon as they come back, they get hurt somewhere else. And so it's just trying to get back to equal as quickly as you can before you go out there and start doing stuff.
When you get to certain points athletically, how do you build up that physical callus, or do you have it? And
well, I mean, like to build back up your physical callus of playing football, I mean, you just got to play football. So, I mean, that's why, hopefully I'm in pads sooner than later, because I don't want my first time to be in pads traveling to Australia, because I just don't think that'd be a very smart idea. So, these next couple of weeks or everything, that'll depend if, and that will let me know if I'm ready to play week 1 or not.
When you say that if you're playing week 1, you'll be on that plane in Australia, and if you're not, you'll stay back here in rehab?
I would assume so. I mean, that probably makes the most sense. I would assume.
Is your playing weight been the same throughout your career, and do you want it to drop down now that you've had this injury?
Let's see. My senior year of college, I played at 260. My rookie year, I played at 250, and then ever since then, I've been about 242. And right now I'm 245. So yeah, I mean, feeling good about it. I feel very skinny if I'm under 240 and I can't block people, so it's kind of my job. So I got to stay over 240.
When you say you try to keep them even, you mean your legs?
The calves.
Calves.
Yeah, I mean, like we have all these different force plates, all that stuff that you can like do calf strength, and so you can measure how equal they are, whether your output and stuff like that, and you need to keep them, whether it's like just a hard push, how quickly can you get to top strength. There's all these different tests that you do, and if those aren't like close enough, then you have a higher chance of re-hurting something else. Like if you don't build up your calf, then your knees are, you have a potential to do something with your knees, and so you just want to get that all back, so then by the time you get back to playing, you feel as normal as possible.
George, you mentioned not wanting to be a dumbass.
Yes, that is something I strive for every day. Trust me, my wife tells me. I try so hard.
Just let go of that. It's fine. But I mean, how much of that is because elite athlete, you have this goal, week 1, week 1. Do you think it's going to be difficult if you have to let go of that and say, okay, I just can't do it, just because you have to look out for yourself, and obviously the doctors are talking to you and all that?
I mean, yes and no. Like I want to play in every football game that I possibly can play in, but I'm also aware it's an 18-week season, and so hey, if you miss week 1 and you're playing week 2, hey, like it is what it is. So no, I mean, I'm just going to keep that, as my goal, and then we'll adjust from there if we need to. But, I still believe that. My team still believes that. My surgeon still believes that I have a chance. So just keep attacking it.
Relentless positivity is how Klay described you.
Yes.
All the time.
Yeah, why not?
No, I'm not judging it. Was there a point during this process, which tends to be a long one, where you weren't always positive, that you had some of your down moments?
No. I mean, I always think about it. It could be worse, Hey, it could have not been a high tear. It could have been down low where I had to drill through my heel bone, and that adds like a month plus to your recovery. I've had the intention since, I had the surgery to play week 1, and that, like I said, it's very easy to light a fire under you. I golfed 6 rounds at Bandon Dunes 8 weeks after surgery, so I think that's pretty cool. That was actually the first thing I thought of after I got hurt, was this is going to really mess up my golf game this offseason. But I actually played the best golf of my life, so I was pretty excited about that, the things that are actually important. But no, it's like I said, it's very easy for me to stay motivated. So I had a great time.
George, last year you guys didn't run the ball as efficiently, I'm sure, as you wanted.
No, we didn't.
And you changed out a lot of the receivers, and there's a lot more speed. Does more speed at wide receiver, do you think, change the way teams will defend you guys and make it easier to run, maybe?
I mean, anytime you had Mike Evans to the outside, it's not like they can really, stuff the box, because at any moment you can just throw a go ball. So like most corners are going to need help over the top. So hopefully we're not really playing with 8 to 9 guys in the box in every single snap. I think that'll help. Yeah, but speed always helps, because if the safeties have to be, play a little bit deeper, they're not as quick to, fill. And I think that'll just make it a little bit easier on our offensive line, our tight ends, our running back. And then the more Brock gets comfortable with the offense and can get us out of, bad run plays and do a better run play or even a pass play, I think the run game is going to definitely take another step in the right direction this year and not be 3.8 yards.
How long will it take you to, knock off rust, kind of reestablish your rapport with Brock? You've been playing with him since 2022. I mean, do you anticipate that being a challenge?
Not necessarily. He's good at throwing me the ball. I think we'll pick that up pretty quickly. But, I mean, like, just hardest thing really is just football conditioning, because you can run as much as you possibly want, and it's not football. So whole goal is just to, get the pads back on, get a helmet on, and just go run around in circles until I feel like I'm in good shape.
What's Mike Evans like behind the scenes?
Loves Harry Potter. I think he's been listening to a Harry Potter book on Audible every single morning this entire training camp. I call him Mike Evans because I still can't believe he's Mike Evans and he's here in the locker room. Pinch myself every day I see him. I think he's getting annoyed of that. He goes, I'm just Mike. I'm like, no, you're Mike Evans. You can't trick me. But he's fantastic. He's awesome. Talks to everybody, sits at every lunch table, tries to talk to somebody new every single day. Mike's everything they want a vet.
Is he pretty vocal or quiet? Like, how would you describe sort of his...
I think he's vocal when he needs to be, but at the same time, he's just trying to learn the offense and get in tune with Brock and, everything that we want him to do. So I've heard him be vocal, but at the same time, he's behind the scenes, which is, like most vets, who are on a new team.
Have you seen Jake and Luke round out their games? I feel like Jake came in viewed as this prototypical receiving tight end, and Luke as the blocker.
Yeah.
Over the process of them being in the building and seeing them grow up, what have you noticed?
I think Jake's done a great job. I think he's having a really solid camp. His intent in the run game has gotten really, really good. You can actually put him out there, and he's not just like a skinny tight end who you only run routes. He can actually help in the run game. That's gotten so much better. He does a good job in the pass pro game. And then I think Luke's just having an absolutely stellar camp. I think he looks like a completely different player. His confidence in the offense is fantastic, and he's just out there making plays every single day. He's running better. That's what anybody that was like hard on Luke last year for, maybe not living up to expectations. I'm just like, name one skill player who's come into our offense in year one and played at a high level. Like really, besides Emmanuel Sanders in 2019, and maybe you can count Trent Williams. He's not really a skill player, even though he moves like one. But like everybody struggles in their first year because it's such a complex offense, and what we require you to do as a tight end is everything. And so I think he just has the offense more under his belt. He has a better understanding of it, gives him confidence to play fast and not think. And I think Luke's going to have a fantastic season this year.
You and Juice walked by the 10-year wall. No. Have you and Juice walked by the 10-year wall and just kind of let that soak in what this year is going to mean to both of you?
Absolutely. I absolutely love it. Just excited to get up next to Joe Staley, honestly. Who what the best thing about the wall is that Joe Staley doesn't have an end date yet, so he's technically still playing, which I've thoroughly enjoyed. So what is that? What was his first year, 2013? No, 2007, 9, something like that. So yeah, 2007 all the way to 20. He's in a 20-year career right now. The dude's balling. It's fantastic. But yeah, just to have a chance to get up on the wall is one of the coolest things, and it was a goal of mine since my rookie season. So that's a pretty fun one. And I get to be between Joe Staley and Kyle Juszczyk, two of my favorite teammates of all time.
George, what did you think of Rourke Thursday night?
Fantastic. Wow. He was out there playing, and I was like, wait a second, this guy hasn't played football in 2 years. Like, he didn't do anything last year, except for practice. And he just looked like so fluid out there. And it just made me really happy for him. He looked great, controlled the offense, made good plays, made good decisions with the ball. I'm excited about Curtis, even though he's Canadian.
You mentioned...
Oh, hey there, bud. Yes.
You mentioned skill position guys that come in and struggle.
Yeah.
I would add Christian McCaffrey, 2022, did fine.
Sure. I think running back's slightly different. Okay. And, I think we tailored a lot of things to him. Like a couple of the weeks, we tailored it to him just to make sure it wasn't too much for him. And then, he found his stride. I'll also say, Christian McCaffrey is one of the best running backs to ever play the game. And just how good he is allowed him just to thrive in our offense. So I'm not saying Luke's not the best player at his position of all time, but like Christian's just a one-of-one running back, and I think he just picked it up a little bit better. Anyone else?
No, I was just trying to get you.
Yeah, you can get these. I love what Stribling's doing right now. My favorite thing about Strib is actually just his mindset every single day. Like, there's no ego at all. And one thing I love that Kyle does, he goes like, hey, like in front of the whole team, he's very good at like, he will build you up and he'll also like point out your flaws. So, hey, Strib, like you had like statistically, you had a great game, you made great plays, but hey, here's a couple plays that, we need you to be great at and you weren't. And like that led to bad run plays, or you didn't like, hey, this route is a inside foot up, 4-step out route, and you went outside foot up and you took 5 steps. So the time of the plays messed up. So he's like, these little things you got to focus on. And, Strib didn't take offense to that. He looks at it as like, all right, well, hey, coaches give me an opportunity to get better. And like, that's the mindset you have to have, and you got to be allowed to get coached. And he's not sensitive whatsoever. He's got the right mindset for everything, and he shows up every day, and I think he just works really, really hard. And that's all I've heard about him too. Like, I'm not in every single meeting with him, but, you know, I've only heard great things about him. I think he has a chance to be a very, very good football player for us this year.
Last one with Matt.
George, you're non-committal about week 1, but what's your
Who,
level
me?
of, you were.
Oh.
Well, but what's your level of confidence that you won't have to start the regular season on PUP and miss those first 4 games?
Very confident. Sooner than later.